happening, people? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. Daily Dose Vibes. You know what it is. I'm actually a disgrace because it's called Daily Dose of Minna, but I don't be doing it daily. I actually need to get better. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Happy Saturday, guys. I hope you lot are doing well. Let me know what you've been up to. Is it morning for you? Is it nighttime for you? Is it evening time for you? What you've been up to? You've been watching the football. I was watching Bournemouth versus Liverpool, and before that I was watching Forest absolutely slap up Brighton. And you know what's funny, guys? I actually went and looked back at Brighton's fixture run, and the only two teams they've beaten since November is Ipswich and Manchester United, bro. That is humiliating. But big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. We have so much to talk about because I didn't do a stream just for like a day or 2 days, maybe, I think it is. And there's just so much Manchester United news. Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa. Here we go, is like this close. It's this close. But essentially everything is in order. Marcus Rashford and Aston Villa have agreed personal terms. Man United and Villa are just ironing out the details. I don't think that is something that I saw on the horizon, guys. I don't think it was something I ever saw on the horizon. So we're going to talk about that. United push for Tel, especially with Marcus Rashford now leaving. Man United also interested in targeting Quenda. Malacia could be out on the way to Benfica on loan. And also Aiden Heaven signs for Manchester United. And a fun fact about the news, guys, about Heaven joining Manchester United, it said in the announcement from the club that he will join up with the first team immediately, which means he's coming in as a first team player. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't know much about Aiden Heaven. I'll be honest, I don't know much about him. I've done a little bit of research on him. Is he a first team player? And if so, why did Arteta not bring him through, given the fact that he brought Wanyeri through and he brought Lewis Skelly as well? So we're going to talk about that. So be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Philip says, hey, Minna, what a result for Forest. That proves how poor we have been at United. Honestly, 7-0. They absolutely dismantled Brighton. And you know what? Hertzler, everybody was talking about him when he joined the league, but I actually think the way that he plays with Brighton is not sustainable for the Premier League. I mean, it's a vacant midfield, but we're not here to do a tactical kind of breakdown on Brighton. But 7-0 is humiliation, and that's actually how you bounce back from a humiliating loss, because they lost 5-0 the week before that, and they bounced back with a 7-0 victory. Anthony Elanga balling out, 3 assists. It's funny because I've seen this discourse around Anthony Elanga is always intriguing to me a little bit, because I think if he had not left United and he stayed, he would not be the Elanga that he is now. That's just my general opinion. I feel like Man United for far too long has been an environment where players, it's either you sink or you swim, and a lot of players sink, especially young players. Was it the right choice at the time to maybe let him leave for his own career? 100%, because I just don't think you would have seen this Anthony Elanga at Manchester United. And credit where credit's due, because clearly Nottingham Forest has the environment to have young players like Callum Hudson-Odoi, like Jota, like Elanga come through and be able to create a good environment for them to flourish in. It's as simple as that. And today their cheat code was literally hit the byline with Elanga and just play it across the box to Chris Wood. Chris Wood, by the way, at the age of 33, has surpassed Marcus Rashford's highest Premier League goal tally. Can you believe that? At the age of 33, his highest Premier League goal tally. And by the way, we're only in February. That is the key point. We are only in February, which means he's probably going to end the season with maybe like 28, 29, maybe 30 goals. But yeah, they balled out. But let's get into it. Because like I said, we've got so much to talk about. So make sure you lot get involved in the comment section, get involved in the chat. But before you actually get involved in the chat, make sure you hit the like button upon arrival. Let's start with Patrick Dorgu. Patrick Dorgu is gonna come to Manchester United and rejuvenate our wing-back position. Let's not be too delusional and expect him to completely fix everything, but it's a step in the right direction. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I think if Manchester United are able to get him in and get this attacking type of profile that they need in the wide channels, I'm really excited to see him for Manchester United. He's completed his medical. I actually think, guys, I think Man United are going to present him to the fans tomorrow at Old Trafford, because he's signed his contract, he's done his medical, he's probably doing all the media stuff. I think that he will be presented at Old Trafford tomorrow to the fans, which they've done quite a bit over the last couple of years in terms of presenting players to the fans. And it will be nice because his first experience at Old Trafford is going to be a whole crowd of people cheering for him because they're just excited that Man United finally brought someone in. in the January transfer window. 30 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons is good business, guys. Don't let anybody fool you. I feel like far too long, everybody has this notion of United overpaying. But when United do good business, it's suddenly, wow, United overpaid for a young player. Man United didn't pay 30 million for, I think, what he is right now. I think they've paid 30 million for the prospect and the potential that he has to become. And when I look at other teams who buy players based on potential, they overpay. They overpay many, many times. So I think it's good business. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about what you think about Patrick Dorgu, but I think it's a decent business. He can play left wing back. He can play right wing. I was reading an analysis about him. Apparently, he could play as a right winger as well as a left wing back. And it's interesting because we're also linked to other wing backs like Quenda. It seems like what Man United's going for and the type of profiles they're going for in terms of players, especially in the wing back position, is powerful players, strong, physical, powerful players with heaps of pace. I don't know. Are we going to be seeing pace merchants? Excuse me. Are we going to see pace merchants at Manchester United? We've got to wait and see. But I'm really interested to see how Dorgu fits in. One thing I will say is, guys, when he does play, please, let's not do what we do as fans when we become too emotional and have the highest of expectations for him from the jump. Let's not do that. Let's give him time to fit into the team. Let's give him time to adapt to England. Let's give him time to adapt to the Premier League. Let's give him time to adapt to Amorim's system and just get comfortable. Let's not, from the first game he maybe starts, or from the first 3 games that he possibly plays, let's not just jump on him and say he's not good if you don't see what maybe you expected to see. Give him time, because I feel like a lot of players that United bring in the January transfer window will need that aspect of time. The good thing is that Dorgu is coming in on a permanent deal, so we don't need him to hit the ground running. Whereas I feel like, and when we get to Tel, we're going to talk about it, I feel like when you come in on loan, you got 4 or 5 months to be an impact. And that you could really make or break your time at Manchester United in doing so. Dorgu left wing back, Ahmad right wing back, Bruno Ugarte pivot, Maino Garnacho 10s. I can see that happening low key. Mina, I'm afraid we might push new signings too hard and too fast. We need to let them settle and learn the Amorim system. I mean, the players that have been here under Amorim are still learning the system. So we definitely have to let players that come in now learn the system. We've got to be patient with it. I think I definitely feel like patience is the most important thing. I'll be real. I want Dorgu to play his natural position at left wing back. Can we not play him on the right? I think we're going to see Ahmad in the 10, in the right wing back. Sorry. I think Amad Diallo, and I'm not against it, guys. I'm not against it. The more that I watch Man United, and the games that I watch Ahmad in the 10, and then I watch him at right wing back, and I realize how influential he can be in both kind of sides, but the difference in balance when he plays as a right wing back is evident, and that is why I feel like I'm not mad. I'm really, really not mad if Amad Diallo plays as a right wing back, in my opinion. Big up to Kadeem, says hello, Min. I hope you're doing great. Everton picking up 3 points, Kadeem. David Moyes. Anyway, let's get into the biggest conversation today, guys. I am never going to get used to Marcus Rashford in another shirt, let alone another Premier League team. I will never get used to it. Now, this loan spell, let's actually go through the news and then we'll get into the conversation. Aston Villa are close to agreeing a deal to sign Marcus Rashford on loan from Man United. The proposed move is being finalised as there's some details needed to be ironed out between all the parties. Fabrizio also then reporting that Marcus Rashford has agreed personal terms with Aston Villa and the deal is imminent after a green light was given this morning. Villa and Manchester United are closing in on a loan deal and they're also discussing a buy option clause. Emery reportedly personally called Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford is attracted to the idea of the project, number one, and number two, Champions League football. So that is where Marcus is crazy. Guys, a month ago, when was this? Like mid of December, when he did the interview saying he wants a new challenge. I didn't think Aston Villa was going to be his final destination. And that's no disrespect to Aston Villa, because Aston Villa, firstly, they're better than Manchester United this season, number one. Number two, but I actually think it's a good destination for him. I think it's a good destination for him. The only thing I will say is that as a Man United fan, I never want someone to go to a Premier League team unless you're not like a good team. And Aston Villa are in Champions League football right now. They're 8th in the league, currently playing bottom side Wolves. But in terms of the front line that they have, and by the way, with Duran leaving, obviously that opened up the avenue for Marcus Rashford to go to Villa. That's the first point. But I think, attacking team, transitional team, playing off of the left channel, a target man in Ollie Watkins, a fullback supporting him, got midfielders doing the midfield work in terms of ball retention and ball progression. I actually think Aston Villa is a good destination for him. Do I want him to go to Aston Villa? Absolutely not. But the best outcome for this situation would be that Marcus Rashford goes to Villa, plays football, say he scores a couple of goals in the season, maybe 5 to 10 goals in all competitions for them, plays regularly, and then Man United sell him on a permanent in the summer. It was never meant to end like this. Honestly, it was never meant to end like this. And I will stay on the consensus that I will never get used to Marcus Rashford in another shirt, let alone a Premier League team. By the way, it's like the curse of the commentator. I just said that Aston Villa are playing Wolves, and Wolves have just scored. They're 1-0 up at home at the Molineux against Aston Villa. But I also think Unai Emery has he can have a good task at hand here with rejuvenating Marcus Rashford. Now, the only way that I do see it, by the way, is that the only way that I see things happening is that if Emery will put in the effort that he gets from Marcus Rashford. The only person that can essentially decide this outcome of his career is Marcus Rashford. It's not Man United, it's not Aston Villa, it's not any other team that was linked for him. The only person that can decide the trajectory of his career is Marcus Rashford. You go to Birmingham right now, you go to Villa, you play your socks off. You play your socks off. If you are adamant that you want a new challenge outside of Manchester United, and maybe Villa might not be the final destination for him, but you need to perform well in that foot. It's an audition, guys. This is an audition for his summer destination. Because if he goes to Aston Villa and he goes on to kind of recreate what is happening at United now under Ruben Amorim, more people will, I think, move away from being on his side and be more on the side of maybe there's something wrong with him. It's because I genuinely feel like in life, and this is life lessons with Mina, guys, I feel like you are the creator of your fortune. I'm Muslim, guys, so I fully believe in qadar. I believe in God has willed this for me, but also I have to do that. I have to put in the work to make it happen. And in football, it's the same thing. Marcus Rashford cannot expect from here on out for things to be handed to him on a plate, because he's going to go to Villa now and he's going to be coming up against players like Leon Bailey, Ramsey, etc. He's not entitled to start for them. He has no being Manc born and bred. That's not going to work. Oh, being a Carrington kid, that's not going to work. You need to earn your stripes at Aston Villa if you are going to go on to maybe go to another destination in the summer. And it could actually be, Villa could be his final destination. Like, he might, the idea of still being close to home, for some context, if you don't live in the UK, Villa to Manchester to Birmingham, which is where Villa is based, is about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe at tops. Drive is about an hour train ride. I'm sure it's like a 30-minute plane ride if he wants to take a private jet. But it's still being closer to home rather than maybe being, in Turin or being in Barcelona or being in Milan, etc. Now, I think also the biggest kind of telling point for Marcus Rashford is the level of clubs, or the number of clubs that were interested in him, and suddenly that interest seemed to kind of fizz out bit by bit. We were sitting here at the beginning of the month, guys, talking about 7-8 clubs that are interested in Marcus Rashford. We were talking about AC Milan, Juve, Napoli, Dortmund, Barcelona, and then comes in Spurs, West Ham, all these teams being in, and then to end up at Villa. And like I said, it's no disrespect. I actually think that this could be like the Lingard story when he went to West Ham. It could be that. It could either go like that, or it could be the worst loan spell ever. I think he needed to leave the country for a fresh start. I feel like a lot of people talk about Marcus Rashford's private life, right? And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But sometimes I do think it's good for players to leave the UK. Especially when you are a target from the media. The Telegraph wrote like 9 articles about Marcus Rashford in like a 4-day space. Sometimes out of sight, out of mind, guys, is the best option, despite the fact of whether you want to leave or not. Whether you want to leave or not, that's a different story. But I think Marcus Rashford being away from England would have been better for him. I know he was also linked to like a move to Saudi, but I never saw that. I never saw that happening, in my opinion. I just never saw that. Rashford has a point to prove. You know what? 100%. He's got a point to prove, both in attitude and in the pitch. Like, I think that's the biggest factor. We can talk about what he does on the pitch. And you know what's so sad, guys? I got an emoji and now I'm going to have to get rid of it. I got a Rashford emoji like this. He has to prove something to the people that doubted him, the people that questioned him, the fans at Villa that are going to take a gamble on him, Unai Emery, who's taken a gamble on him. He's got a point to prove to everyone. But most importantly, he has a point to prove to himself, because he's 27 years old. This is the prime time, I think, of your football. The Marcus Rashford that excelled at Manchester United 19-20 season, I think it was, under Ollie, was that Rashford that was coming off of the left channel, had a target man in the middle, had another winger on the other side, and a solid midfield. He had a fit Luke Shaw behind him. That's everything Aston Villa have right now. That's the assets that Aston Villa have right now. Marcus Rashford needs to play like he's got a chip on his shoulder, because he should. He should have a chip on his shoulder, because I saw the statement that he made. I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, when he was talking about the journalists writing stories about it, blah blah blah. I don't agree with the attention that Marcus Rashford gets in the media. People have this obsession of talking about the way he dresses, the chains that he wears. You know, I don't understand. By the way, I do understand, because it gives me a racist undertone when people say he dresses like he wants to be a rapper. What the hell does that mean? But Marcus Rashford also does not help himself. I don't care about what you wear as a footballer. I don't care where you go. I don't train good and play well. That's it. I don't care what you do outside of that. But when Marcus Rashford has all this media attention on him, and sometimes, like I said, he does not help himself. Compost says it here, says the kid don't want it anymore. The fire's gone. I do watch him sometimes, and I look at a guy that has no fight left in him. He doesn't want to be of that level. Like, I genuinely feel that. I feel like the fire that he used to have, and that kind of willingness to succeed, I don't see it in Marcus Rashford at all. And I haven't seen it in Marcus Rashford for some time. And I actually wonder sometimes, is there something going on behind the scenes in his life in terms of mentally? Because I don't know how you can go from being a blockbuster player 2 seasons ago to having the fall off that you've had. And I'm not going to say it's because of what he wears. It's the chains and the hoodies and the caps and the trainers. I don't care about that stuff. Marcus Rashford has money. You know, he's been blessed with a great contract. He's got the money to do that stuff. But when people kind of obsess over that and kind of blame that for the way that he's playing, I think that there is deeper rooted problems as to why Marcus Rashford is the way he is. But also, I think a part of this situation with Marcus Rashford is because Ruben Amorim, I think, has the keys to the team. He's come in, and I think he's probably maybe had a conversation with Ineos in terms of what he wants to change. And when he's realized certain players is not what he wants, Ineos are giving him free reign. Because Marcus Rashford survived how many managers? He survived how many managers? I thought the Ralph Rangnick time after that, when Ten Hag, I thought that was the end of Rashford. I didn't even think he was going to make it that summer of Eric Ten Hag. I thought Man United were going to cash in on him because of how poor he was under Rangnick and how bad he was that season. So I was actually quite shocked that he was given that chance. But Minna, you're putting the blame on Amorim. No, I'm not putting the blame on. I'm saying that Ruben Amorim has a lot more control of these situations than previous managers did, which is why we're probably seeing Marcus Rashford out the door. I feel like if other managers were given the amount of control that they have, that Ruben Amorim has in terms of the players, I think Marcus Rashford might have been out of the door a long time ago. That is my point. I do wonder if he's lost love for football or just hates being at United at this point. That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good. I guess we'll see when he goes to Villa whether he's lost the love for football, because if he replicates what he's doing at Villa and what he's been doing at United, then I think it'll be safe to say that maybe it's just the football. Maybe it's just the football that it's just not the fight and the love and the passion is not there anymore. But bear in mind, he's 10 years deep in. 10 years deep in the same environment, which I think he had a lot of influence in. I think that, again, it went a long way. The fact that he was Manc born and bred, he was Manchester United through and through from the academy. He was an example for academy players coming through to the first team. But when you don't have that kind of hold over the team anymore, it doesn't carry any weight anymore. Saying, I'm a Carrington kid. I've been here for so long. I'm Manc born and bred. That doesn't carry much weight anymore. And I think maybe when he goes to Villa, he needs to find his influence outside of being a Carrington kid. He needs to find a way to influence Villa in a positive way, by the way, outside of saying I'm a Carrington boy. Big up to Stu, been a member for 2 months. Big up, says, I'll just be happy when the whole saga is over with. I agree. It's been a long saga, man. It's been December, when was it? 17th, I think it was. He did the interview about saying he wants to leave. We haven't seen him play since, I think, what was it, the Arsenal game, the Spurs game, Spurs Carabao Cup, I think, was the last time we've seen him play for Manchester United. Since then, he's only been on the bench once, and that's because Man United needed a player on the bench. Amorim was never going to use him. And that's why I've actually said, yeah, before today, I was saying Man United and Rashford's team have to work together to find a solution. And one of them has to bite the bullet and take an L financially, whether it's Marcus Rashford or whether it's Manchester United. One of them is going to have to bite the bullet and make the decision in terms of taking a cut, or Man United having to cover costs. And it sounds like Aston Villa are going to cover a lot of his costs. I think we'll kind of wait to see what happens in terms of the kind of the fine details of his loan spell. But as it stands, Marcus Rashford will be going to Aston Villa, and he's among one of the highest earners at the team. I think he's the second highest after Casemiro. He's on 325k, guys. How do you guys feel about a lot of the high earners being moved on? Because it's very evident for me Casemiro will leave in the summer. Very evident. Saudi League transfer window has closed, so there's no destination there for him. Anthony has also gone. Marcus Rashford will leave in the summer, and I think Anthony, will leave. I think all the high earners, I think Mason Mount will leave, and I think all the high earners will bit by bit. I actually hope that it's no longer normalized at Manchester United for multiple players to be on 300k. Mohamed Salah right now at Liverpool is on 300k. He's just surpassed Frank Lampard as the 6th highest goal scorer in the Premier League, and he's crying for 350k. And United were handing that out like, oh, you want 300k, you want 300k. I hope that is done. I hope that era of United paying 300k a week to players, because they got no other kind of satisfaction of bringing them over to the club. I hope that era is gone. I hope it's gone. And some people are saying that Amorim is like a puppet for the Glazers or for Ineos in terms of cost cutting and saving. But let's be honest, guys, there's no one in the team right now that deserves to earn 300k plus. There is not one person that deserves to earn 300k plus. And when Man United brought in Casemiro, obviously context is important. They were bringing him in from Real Madrid. They had nothing to offer him except for money. They had Europa League football, and that's it. And a new manager that has just come in. So sometimes maybe they felt like they had to overcompensate in wages to bring players. But now I think Manchester United sound like they're moving down this path of young emerging talents, and we're going to talk about that, and trying to find the quotation mark best in class. Bruno will leave. He's on 300k. I don't see Bruno leaving. Do you not think Bruno will leave? Do you not actually think that? I don't. I don't see Bruno leaving. Not at least for another maybe season. It's not Rashford's fault that he's a high earner, because when he had 30 goals season, there was Sancho, David De Gea were getting paid much more. That's true. That's the thing, is like, it came back to bite Man United in the arse. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when it came to negotiations, probably with Rashford over his new contract, he probably pointed to people like De Gea and Sancho, Casemiro, Varane, etc., and said, look how much they're earning. I deserve to earn that too. And that's what happens when Man United give out high contracts to players. Other players are going to use that as ammunition when they're performing well, saying, I deserve that. Remember when there was reports about Kobe Mainoo wanting 200k a week? He's probably looking at people like Eriksen sitting on the bench and thinking, well, I deserve that too. Ratcliffe hates Bruno. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from? That sounds like news to me. That sounds like news to me. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. We've got over 140 people here, and we don't even have at least 100 likes. You guys know the rules, man. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the community, and then you hit the like button. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. And you can help me reach my super chat goal for the day, guys. Today is the 1st of February, which means it's officially my birthday month. February is the best month in the year, because it's the month that I was born. And fun fact, I share a birthday with Michael Jordan. Do you know how crazy that is? One of the greatest NBA players. I'm always fascinated by that. But anyway, yeah, February, you lot prepare to be sick of me, because I'm going to be mentioning that it's my birthday month every so often. But some news as well yesterday coming from David Ornstein is that, and by the way, guys, have you guys noticed that David Ornstein is now doing a Fabrizio where he's just reporting on players, teams being interested in players? Before, I feel like Fabrizio has changed his kind of tactics, if you want to say that, in transfer windows. Fabrizio only used to report. He would only tweet when a deal is done or is close to being done or they've put in a bid. But now he's also reporting on, oh, Manchester United are discussing internally whether they should get this guy. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed it. But anyways, David Ornstein reporting yesterday that Manchester United are exploring a deal to sign Giovanni Quenda from Sporting this summer. So it's never really unusual, guys, for teams to start putting in place the motion for the summer. I mean, you saw Arsenal making moves for Zubimendi for the summer. No formal offer has been made, but Manchester United are looking into a move. See, look, Man United are looking into a move. It's not that there's no formal offer, and David Ornstein never used to do this. He would only report stuff when an official bid has been made. But I don't know. It's something I noticed. But Man United are looking into a move for the 17-year-old international who turns 18 in April and is expected to cost around 40 million euros. So that's about 33 million pounds. Of course, he came through Sporting system under Ruben Amorim, and we knew that Ruben Amorim was fond of him when Ruben Amorim was arriving at Manchester United. Another player who I think is a great wing back. And I'm saying that based on what I've watched from Sporting in very brief kind of moments. But like I said, it looks like Man United are going down this strong, pacey, powerful wing-back system of wing-backs that can dribble, wing-backs that can get up and down the pitch, wing-backs that are able and quite fluid in terms of ball progression and ball transition for counters, etc. That's what it feels like. It's crazy. He's 17 years old, bro. He's at the same age as my nephew. Do you know how weird it is that Man United are signing players that are the same age as my nieces and my nephews? It's really weird. And another young player that Manchester United have announced today is Aiden Heaven from Arsenal. Joined Manchester United on a contract until June 2029. I want to hear your thoughts about this, guys. I really want to hear your thoughts about this, because it was announced as well with the announcement of Aiden Heaven joining Manchester United. We'll wear number 26. That's a serious number to wear as a defender. But I really want to know what you lot think, because I thought he was coming in to the academy and then he would progress into the first team. But it's been reported that he will be joining up immediately with the first team. Now, the only time I've ever watched him was during pre-season when United played Arsenal. That's the only kind of consensus that I have on him. I've done a little bit of research, but I really want to know why he did not progress into Arsenal's first team. Now, I know that they've got a lot of centre-backs. They've got, Gabriel, they've got Saliba, they've got Kiwa, they've got multiple players that can play at centre-back, right? But even when they were having injury issues, there was no path to the first team for him. Whereas Lewis Skelly, Arteta has kind of put his like eggs in that basket. That sounds weird, but you guys get what I mean. Wanyeri, another young player from the academy that's been given his flowers and given his opportunities in the first team. So I'm really curious as to why he's never had that progression into the first team at Arsenal. Number one. Number two, I am also kind of a bit curious, if you want to say, that Manchester United have looked like they're changing their transfer strategy and buying a lot of young players. But I really think United need to find that balance of young prospects and young talents, but equally, they need to find that experience in players. You cannot rely on completely 19, 18, 20-year-olds. And I also hope that United are buying these players for the team. And they're not buying them as cash cows, as money-making players, spending $500,000 on a young player and then from an academy, poaching him from a rival academy, and then selling him for 6 to 10 million in the next season or two. I hope that's not the mindset that they have, because you can do that at maybe Nice. You can't do that at Manchester United. You should not be doing that at Manchester United. Big up to Sully with the super chat. Thank you, Sully, for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, Ineos going young, Tel is next. I see the vision. Do you guys genuinely see the vision? And that's not me questioning. It's not me questioning Ineos. It's just about the balance. That's the most important thing. If I'm all for buying young talents if you think it's the right fit. But what I don't like is the idea of signing young talents with the intention of selling them on. Because you become there's no difference between you and, what I hate, guys? I hate trainers, resellers. If you lot know, I love shoes. I love trainers, sneakers, if you want to call it that. There's a lot of resellers. They'll buy in bulk, from a shop, and then they resell for triple the price. I'll miss out on a pair of trainers that are £150, and now if I want them, I have to pay £400. I hope Man United are not trying to be like that, because I don't think that should be the path for recruitment that Man United should go for. Should they sign young players? Yes, I like the idea of signing Patrick Dorgu. I like the idea of signing Chido Obi Martin for the future. I like the idea of Sekou Kone, who, by the way, Sekou Kone, I think he's comfortable in under 21s from what I've watched so far. It will help finances. That's true. Maybe that's the only way to look at it. The only thing I don't see is, I feel like it's easier to buy young players in January than it is to buy senior players, because, if you go and try to buy Cunha from Wolves in January window, they're going to ask for 70 million. Their position in the summer might be different because they might get relegated. Whereas if you go to Arsenal and you want to buy an academy player, it's easier to get it done. It's much, much easier to get it done. It's just, for me, it's about finding, I feel like Man United need to find the balance. That's the most important thing. I think reselling is important when it makes sense. We have massive debt, so doing smart business is always smart. I agree, because Man United's finances is effed up, guys, 100%. And the financial situation for United is dire. And there's the debt aspect, but there's also the interest on the debt, which is, as nearly as much as the flipping debt itself. So Man United are always kind of in this like cycle of paying the interest, using debt to buy players, paying interest, using debt to. So now they're trying to find, obviously, other financial ways of making Man United a sustainable team in transfer windows. But is it wrong if I blame the Glazers for that? Is it wrong if I blame the Glazers for that? Because let's be honest, in the summer we need to go and buy multiple players. But I also think, can I say, when it comes to like signing Dorgu, or it comes to signing Quenda, I feel like there will be a lot more patience with young players who are, example, a wing back, than a young player. If United brought a young player as a striker, look at Rasmus Højlund right now. Strikers, I think, need to be, I don't want to say clear cut, but they need to be clinical strikers. I always said this, and I said this months ago. At Manchester United, you don't have the fortune of patience as a striker as other positions maybe. I feel like with a left wing back or a right wing back, United fans will be a lot more patient. But with a striker, the expectation is you get goals, you hold up the ball well, you win your aerial duels, you're good. You have to be good as a striker. There's no such thing, I think, at Manchester United, unfortunately, as being patient, and definitely not for 18 months. We're with Rasmus Højlund, and the reason why I'm mentioning him, it's been 18 months, and I feel like we are back to square one with him. I genuinely feel that. And it's unfortunate for him because, again, he never asked to come in and be the starter immediately. And Man United shouldn't have put that pressure on him straight away. But it's your second season now. I think there's more leeway for a player like Xerxes because it's his first season. Whereas it's your second season. I saw what you did last season. You had to build on that. But I actually think he's regressed. I think Rasmus Højlund has regressed. So with Quenda, with Dorgu, if Manchester United bring both of them in, I think it'll be a situation where there'll be a lot more patience. I feel like there'll be a lot more patience for that. A striker should always be experienced. Striker position is one that I think that you either got it or you don't. Hi, Mina, I can't find a link to become a member. It's the pinned comment in the chat. If you look at the top, there's a pinned comment. It says become a member of the channel and help the community to grow. If you click that link, it will take you to the membership options level 1, 2, 3. We've got over 100 people here. We're 3 likes away from 100. So please do hit the like button. It really helps with the algorithm. We're on 11.4K. We're not that far off from 11.5K, and it's the road to 12K. The goal is to hit 20K, inshallah, this year. So please do hit the like button because it really helps with the algorithm. Some more news on Outgoings. We're gonna get to Tel because I know you lot. I know you lot are all talking about Tel in the what's it called? I know you lot are all talking about Tel, and he is a topic of discussion today, guys. Don't worry. But Tyrell Malacia could be on the way out for Manchester United on loan. Negotiations are now underway and advancing between Benfica and Manchester United for Tyrell Malacia. This is coming straight from Fabrizio Romano. Malacia reportedly has agreed to join Benfica on loan, and clubs are in advanced talks to seal the deal of the agreement. It will probably be like a loan with a small option to buy. It's actually quite random that they're looking to sell him because, of course, you don't know he came off of that season where he didn't play any football because of an injury. Maybe in this 6 months that he's been back, or the 3 months that he's actually been back, maybe Man United have just realized he's cooked. Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen him have a great game since he's come back. Like, not an influential game or an impactful game. He's just a passenger in the team. And I don't want to be too harsh because, like I said, this is a guy that's been out. He's not played football for over 12 months. But in the 3 months that I've seen him play, there's not one standout game. And he hasn't played every single day, every single game. So I know we can't kind of be too heavy with the criticism. But even in the games that he started, you're getting hooked at halftime way too often. And I actually thought that at first I thought he was getting hooked at halftime because of, the fact that he was coming back from injury. But when it's happened more than once, I've realized that he's dusted. He's dusted. And it's so sad because it actually might be as a result of that injury and all that time out. And hindsight is a thing because maybe if he had done the surgery the first time around in the way that he wanted to, because he ended up having 2 surgeries because the first one was a effed up surgery. Because I think it was the club's he used his own doctor that effed it up. Sad. We got Malacia as a backup, so if he goes, it's all right, all the best to him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for me, I remember before we actually signed him and we hijacked him. I can't remember where we hijacked him from. Was it Leon or someone? And I remember saying United should sign Malacia as a backup because I never felt like he was going to be a starter at Manchester United. I was never convinced on it. I remember his first start for Man United, guys. Mohamed Salah against Liverpool, Old Trafford, and we won. And he locked up Salah. He locked him up. I will always remember that, but all the best to him if he does go out on loan, and if Manchester United are able to get something for him, then even better. Even better. I don't know. He ain't starting over Alvaro Fernandez, though. That's for sure. Guys, this Tel story is so funny because yesterday I didn't have the chance to catch up with any United news until late night because I was at St. George's Park, which is home of England football. So I had a shoot there. So I didn't really have much time to keep up with United news. So the last thing that I remember about Tel is that that Spurs had a 60 million euro bid accepted. So that's the last part that I knew. And then yesterday, when I'm catching up with all the news, I'm seeing he's rejected Spurs. But not only did he reject Spurs, Daniel Levy flew out to Bayern. Daniel Levy flew out to Munich. I bet you he went on an EasyJet flight, guys. Oh my days. I bet you any money he went on an EasyJet flight, yeah? Broke billionaire boy, whatever you want to call him that. And he probably just saw Daniel Levy and he said, yeah, nah, I'm not coming to Spurs. Do you know how funny that is? It reminds me of when Murto or Arnold, I can't remember, was it Murto or Arnold, when they flew out to Barcelona to apparently sign Frankie de Jong, and they came back with some snacks from Barcelona and no Frankie de Jong. Oh man, it was so jokes. Man said thanks for coming out, but I'm good. Peace. Yeah, he's probably thinking, I don't know what did Daniel Levy say to him for him to be like, nah. They probably said to him, we got a huge stadium. Sometimes we rent the stadium to Beyonce or Burna Boy for concerts, so you get to go to a Beyonce or Burna Boy concert. And he's probably thinking, what, you don't host little baby concerts there? That's probably what he's thinking. He's probably thinking, I don't care about Burna Boy and Beyonce concerts. I don't care about the NFL. Are you not going to give me game time? And also, it's interesting because I don't look at Spurs and think Tel is a player that they need. Maybe if they were buying him like as a right winger, because I know they only got Brennan Johnson there. In 2 days, Spurs are rejected twice by Tel and Tomori. Do you know how dusted you have to be as a team? No disrespect to Spurs, yeah. No disrespect to them, even though they're like 16th right now. For Tomori to reject you. I love Tomori, and he was so important for that AC Milan title charge that they did a couple of seasons ago. But he's been a shadow of himself, and even he doesn't want to join Spurs. Maybe it's his connection to Chelsea that's probably making him not want to join Spurs. But Spurs get rejected everywhere they go. I couldn't stop laughing, bro. Honestly, guys, I was cracking up when I saw that Daniel Levy flew to Munich. He was probably halfway in the air, and he probably got a text from Tel saying, yeah, go back. Anyways, oh man. How many times are you gonna disrespect, man? Then follow up, no disrespect. You know, guys, come on. You know that's prime time damage control. I don't want to be coming across disrespectful, but you know damn well I'm being disrespectful. But anyway, let's talk about Tel and Manchester United. So Tel yesterday indicated to Tottenham that he intended to stay at Bayern Munich and reassess his future in the summer. Tottenham had a deal in place with Bayern and Tel and his representatives only for the player to basically make a U-turn. So apparently they actually agreed and they made a U-turn on it. Tel made a U-turn on it. Manchester United have been open to a move for Tel if he's made available to leave on loan before the transfer closes. And just some new information on that in terms of what they're planning to do. Manchester United are aiming to secure a loan for Tel with a 45 million buy option for Bayern Munich's player, and they hope to submit an official loan offer today. Big up to Philip with the super chat. Appreciate it, Philip. Nothing there, but I appreciate the contribution, man. Thank you so much. So it looks like Man United are pushing for a loan deal with an option to buy 45 million. Transfer prices are ridiculous nowadays, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. 45 million for Tel is crazy, but I guess because Spurs started this problem because they bidded 60 million for him and had that accepted. I saw a chart that was comparing Tel and Rashford this season, and I can't remember who it was. Is that 45 million euros or GBP? It's 45 million GBP. It's 45 million GBP. It's not euros. In euros, I think would be about 45 would be about 50 something. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So let me know in the chat what you think about the idea of Tel to Manchester United. When I think about him, I remember that he nearly scored against Manchester United, or did he score against us in the Champions League? He came off the bench when we played Bayern Munich last season. It's also reported that Tel is interested in a move to Manchester United. Ruben Amorim is a big fan of him, and he would be open to the move if Manchester United come for him. Essentially, it sounds like he's just waiting for them to make a move. That is really what it just sounds like. Manchester United, and this is coming from Daily Mail, Manchester United hold further talks with Bayern Munich over Tels as they prepare a replacement for Marcus Rashford. He scored in the away game. Yeah, there you go. I thought so. Thank you very much, Ridwan. You're the GOAT. Thank you, Ridwan. This is the exact table that I saw, which kind of gives us an interesting insight into what Tel offers. I know, guys, it's not always about stats. It's not always about data, but data is very important, I think, to forming opinions. And especially now in football, I feel like data is really football has become data driven, stats driven, and football clubs are making decisions based on what data says. And it's not just football, by the way. A lot of industries go off of data. Data analysts and data engineers, they're huge. The huge demand for them. Now it's interesting because it's comparing Marcus Rashford this season to Marcus Rashford to Tel last season, which is interesting because it's around the same number of minutes as well. So that is also quite useful. Tel was never a starter for Bayern Munich, but let's just look at, guys, the metrics here. Pink is Marcus Rashford, blue is Tel. He excels, or based on the data, has excelled last season in every aspect of the game than Marcus Rashford has this season. That is a fact. That is a fact. If we're looking at just, the numbers, progressive ball carries, more advanced than Marcus Rashford. Dribbles per game, more advanced. Or overall dribbles, much better. Non-penalty goals, which is basically literally goals that you score that are not penalties. Expected goals and expected assists combined, nearly double of what Marcus Rashford has produced this season. Assists, nearly more than double than what Marcus Rashford has produced this season. Key passes, quite on level. So they're able to find both of them able to find the key passes. And attacking actions, again, everything is nearly double of what Marcus Rashford has done this season. But also, we could say that with Marcus Rashford just being crap, not being great this season. I feel like we have to look at this. We can't look at it tunnel viewed kind of thing. We have to look at it overall. We can't kind of expect the clear consensus to be Tel is better than Rashford based on this, because this is maybe a good season for Tel and it's a bad season for Rashford. Maybe we should try compare a good season for both of them or a bad season for both of them, what it looks like now. Of course, age is a huge factor, and Tel is only 19 years old and he's not a regular star, so he's probably looking at a club that's going to offer him regular football. I want to see this season how he's performing for Bayern Munich in terms of starting. Tel has only started one game for Bayern Munich this season in the league. He's only been in the starting 11 once. He's been on the bench 5 times and he's been a used sub twice. Oh, that's Champions League. My bad. I'm looking at the wrong. What is wrong with me? Okay, well, it's not any different. He's only started 2 games for them this season in the league. And I get that they have Gnabry, they got Coman, so coming off of the left channels. Harry Kane owns that number 9 spot. They got Elise, who owns the right hand side. They got Musiala that owns the 10. So essentially, he's in competition with 2 other players for that position. He has missed a couple of games this season. Overall, has played 14 games this season, guys, producing 458 minutes, which is not a lot of football. And if we go off of last season again as well, and 10 goals in all competitions, guys, for a player that's not a regular starter is decent. He's only started last season 6 games in the league for Bayern Munich. So clearly his reasoning to probably leave is game time. He probably wants to leave and get game time. And rightfully so, because when you're a young player, that is as important, I think, for your development of anything else. And I saw that he was also linked to Chelsea as well. Chelsea just at this point, they're hoarding wingers. Like, I don't get it. I don't think it's the player's ability. The manager has had favorites, but even last season, he wasn't favorited by the manager. Last season, he wasn't that favoured by Thomas Tuchel. He's not really that favoured by Vincent Kompany. But I'm not going to lie, guys. I don't really think much of Vincent Kompany's talent ID. So let me say that. I'd sell Garnacho if it means we can go all in for Cunha. I bet you he's balling out against Villa right now. I'm going to rewatch that game later on. Last season, overall, guys, just for some context, he played 41 games for Bayern Munich in all competitions. And he was in the starting 11 10 times. 10 times he was in the starting 11. That is a very reasonable... it's a reasonable reason, I think, for why he wants to leave. I think it's very reasonable. Now, do you guys generally think that he's the answer to what Manchester United need? Because he's a player that can play in the wide channel. He can stretch the back line. He can play in the 10. He can play as a second striker. Essentially, I think in the 10s, one of the two 10s has to play as a second striker, especially if Joshua Zirkzee is playing. I think I'm the only person not moved by the idea of Tel. And I don't want you lot to think Mina don't know ball. I just feel like there's better prospects that you can go out to get who are more experienced, have more, can offer more in terms of that 10 role. What United need is someone that doesn't purely have an eye for goal. Someone that is able to, dribble at close quarters, hold possession in close quarters, similar to Ahmad, but has an eye for goal, has an eye for creating, essentially all-roundedness. I look at Tel and I think he's a guy that just wants to get in front of goal. He reminds me of a young Marcus Rashford in the instance that he's young, heaps of pace, can dribble well, but I just don't think he's for £45 million. Add 10 million more and you can sign a Cunha. You can sign Mbeumo. Like that's just my opinion, and I really want to know what you guys, because I've been kind of torn about Tel for the last couple of days, and I don't know if United need to just fill up their team with young players. Does everyone in our team have to be under 21? What are we playing in an under 21 Premier League? Does everyone have to be under 21? That's what I want to know. I don't mind you signing a young player for potential, but 45 million is a lot of money for an unproven player. It's also a lot of money, I think, for a Bayern Munich team that are trying to offload players. Gnabry wants to leave. Coman wants to leave. Sane is probably going to leave as well. I think he's a free agent. Why doesn't he stay? Obviously, maybe there's something with the relationship with his manager, but if those three wingers are leaving, that left-hand side will be yours. Cunha costs 65 million. You're telling me 20 million more and you can buy Cunha. Is that stupidity, guys? Is that the better option? Even Mbeumo. I know, I think I saw, was it Newcastle putting in a bid for him? Someone putting in a bid for him. Mohamed Kudus is getting interest from Saudi. Yeah, these are all players that are going to go for premium prices in the summer. Teams like Wolves could go down. They could go down, and if they do, Cunha will be available on a cheaper price than what you maybe would have paid in the January window. Who's proven and who isn't in a good situation, who we can afford? We are being unreasonable to expect that from 12th. Also, it's Cunha. You know what's so funny? I've been saying Cunha for the longest, and then someone said to me the other day, it's not Cunha, it's Cunha. And I'm like, bro, what is it at this point? What is it at this point? I always used to say Cunha. That's the funny thing. I don't think Cunha is the answer either. Mbeumo would be a better choice. I agree. I think Mbeumo would be a great choice. Ineos increasing the pace and power of the team, and I'm here for it. Do you think there has to be a balance between pace, power, and technical ability? I think the two 10s have to be the most technical players in the team. Actually, I think I actually don't think that's a hot take. I think in this United team, the two 10s have to be the most technical players, because they are essentially that glue to the middle of the pitch. They are the glue between the wing backs, and they are also the glue between the striker and the midfielders. They have to have that glue. Before this window, we didn't have any PMP or Tech Llama. We didn't, to be honest. Obviously, Tel offers that pace, Dorgu offers that PMP. They offer all of that. I don't know, guys. I don't want to be too negative. That's why I'm trying to be positive. Like, I'm trying to look at the positive parts of the transfer window. I think it's also important that, you know, we can't overlook this fact that Man United are offloading players. Like, we definitely cannot overlook that. I can't overlook that. The fact that they're offloading players, albeit it's all loan spells. I can't overlook the fact that they're able to offload players and, you know, potentially set themselves up for a better situation in the summer transfer window. You need balance. Fans were screaming for a physical team, but we hated that Pogba, Lukaku, Fellaini team. We hated less technical team. You need a total squad. You have to have a balance, 100%. You have to have a balance. But I'm still going to point out this thing that I've noticed, that the fact that, you know, we're signing a lot of young players. 19, 20, 21 seems to be 18, 17. Anyone between the ages of 17 to 20, it seems like, you know, Man United are making moves for those kind of players. And I still do believe that United need to find a balance for both. Alex Crook reporting that Man United are ready to step up their interest for Tel. Bayern Munich remain open to loaning him out as well. So it's not just going to be a complete... Let me ask you a question. Is he an upgrade on Marcus Rashford? Is Tel an upgrade on Marcus Rashford? Just say yes or no in the chat. Because I know a lot of people's views on Marcus Rashford is hindered a lot of the Marcus Rashford that we've seen over the last 18 months. But let's remember what Marcus Rashford was at the age of 20, 21, 22. Depends on attitude, yes. A younger version, yes. All of you lot saying yes. Wow. Is Garnacho leaving or staying? Good question. I think Garnacho is staying. I think Garnacho is staying. I think his future at United is not cemented, but it's no longer in doubt of, obviously, the doubts that have been flying around. I always thought it would be one or the other. I always thought it was one or the other. I always thought it was Marcus Rashford or Garnacho leaving. I did not imagine both of them leaving in the January window. And I always said that it's more likely for me that Rashford will leave. Because look how... Listen, we need to give credit where credit is due. Look how Garnacho has essentially taken criticism, public criticism, from Ruben Amorim, and how he's applied that to the way he's playing. Let's be honest. I know some people don't like Garnacho, but Garnacho, the last 3-4 games, has been playing very well. Coming off the bench, making an impact. He's playing with intention, which is the most important thing. He's playing with intention. And that's what you want from a player who, again, was publicly criticized by the manager, left out of the team, on the bench, you know, hasn't really started consistently. I still wonder, by the way, about this Garnacho 10 situation, because a young player can adapt to it. I definitely think a young player can adapt to it, and Garnacho is a young player that can adapt to this situation. But when I watch him a lot, especially in like that left 10, I don't like the way that him and Dalot end up kind of doubling up on the left 10 on the wide channel. Because I don't know if you guys saw, there's actually been multiple times I've seen it. Bruno Fernandes telling Garnacho where to go, because Garnacho obviously naturally as a winger is drifting out to the left, but you've already got Dalot there, and if both of you are on the left, on the wide channel, it's kind of taken out that half space that you're meant to be making. And that's why I liked Kobbie Mainoo playing in the 10 midweek, because when you've got your fullbacks making crosses across, you've got your 10s making in the late run alongside the striker. But Garnacho doesn't do that, because I feel like Garnacho plays more naturally as a winger. And with Dorgu coming in, you don't need to do that anymore. You're not going to have to do that. So what I'm going to need Garnacho to do is play better in close control in those 10 spaces. You don't need to drift out wide. You can do it, but not all the time. Exactly, if you know what I mean. And I want to see him making more runs in behind, like Kobbie Mainoo was in midweek, and Leacher was picking him out. But I think Garnacho is going to stay. Garnacho has also shown some improvement in his decision making. Still needs a lot of work. Yeah, 100%. He went from, I think it was the week that it was announced that, you know, Chelsea wanted him and he wanted to go to Chelsea, and then that Europa League game, he was just firing shots. Not, I think it was against Rangers, was it? He was just shooting non-stop. This week, I saw a completely different Garnacho coming off the bench. So you have to give credit where it's due. You definitely have to give credit where it's due. I like Maino in the 10, but we don't dominate the ball like that in the league every week. He'll struggle in big games. I agree. I feel like Maino in the 10 is another option for the manager, depending on the opponent. And also in the Premier League, Man United don't dominate possession like that. Maybe in Europa League, we might dominate possession because we're coming against, you know, a low block team that's just going to put everyone behind the ball. But in the Premier League, everybody wants to go toe-to-toe with Manchester United. So there's not really going to be a situation where United are going to be able to dominate possession in the Premier League until I think they've kind of got that set starting 11 and Amorim kind of has the squad that he wants at his disposal. But yeah, I think it's safe to say he's staying. Garnacho is staying. Last but not least, Roma interested in Casemiro, but I don't think he's going, guys. I don't think he's going. It's crazy how this story, I don't know if you don't remember last season, Al Nassr were linked to him since last summer. Since April or so, they were linked to him. And it was being pushed. This idea of Casemiro to Al Nassr was being pushed. But I don't ever think there was any cemented interest from the Saudi league for Casemiro. I don't think so. I think Casemiro might get more interest from the MLS than the Saudi league. But I think it's safe to say that his time at United is probably winding down because he's last in the pecking order under Ruben Amorim. Toby Collier is ahead of him. Christian Eriksen is ahead of him. There's a lot of players that are ahead of him in that midfield role. And obviously, I think it's a by means kind of situation where you play him when you literally have to. But yeah, I think Casemiro is done. Is Rashford gone, says Tywin. Should we run that back one more time? Just the news on Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has agreed personal terms with Aston Villa. A deal is imminent after the initial green light this morning. Villa and Manchester United are closing in on a loan deal, discussing buy option clause. Emery called Rashford personally to speak to him, and the player is attracted to the project and Champions League football. So we're going to see Marcus Rashford in an Aston Villa shirt. And someone actually said in the chat that the last game of the season is actually Manchester United versus Aston Villa at Old Trafford. That's United's last, I think, the final game of the season. So you can't write it. It's going to be funny. Imagine it's a situation for Villa where they have to come to United to win to get Champions League football or something. So Marcus Rashford has the chance to, you know, put a dagger through the net for Villa. It's going to be very interesting, which he probably won't feature in. Damn. Like I said, guys, with Marcus Rashford, the best thing is and it's good that Man United and Aston Villa are actually discussing the buy clause. You know, are they going to agree obligation or option? Are they going to agree a reasonable fee? Because let's be honest, United in the summer, 25 million for Jadon Sancho is not bad business for Chelsea. I hope that they can agree maybe more on an option to buy for Aston Villa, and Aston Villa will be in the market in the summer for a forward. So they need to make Marcus Rashford, I need you to go out and ball out at Villa. I don't care if you lot call me quotation mark player FC. I want him to go out and ball out so that United can sell him a lot more easily than maybe what they would have been able to do so if he didn't go out on loan. If United can get a 45 million fee for him, cool. All right, cool. I mean, 45 million might be quite a lot. You lot might think I'm being a bit wild with that. But I think if they can get 45 million for him in the summer, it will help United big time. And also, even if it's not Villa and he goes elsewhere, because let's be honest, I don't think AC Milan will be back in the running for him. Because AC Milan are about to sign Jimenez from Feyenoord. They got Rafael Leao. They got Pulisic. They've got a lot of talent on the wide channels. So I think AC Milan is out of that. I don't think Barcelona are going to come back for him. I don't think actually Barcelona ever wanted him. But I just think that it was a potential place for a destination for him. But I don't think there was ever any real interest. I think the real interest maybe came from Dortmund. But the fact that he's ending up at Villa, I want him back to ball out and get back into the national team. Yeah, because the World Cup is next year as well. The World Cup is next year as well. And yeah, I think this could be like his Jesse Lingard story. I think this could be like his Jesse Lingard story, where Jesse Lingard went out to West Ham, balled out at West Ham. I mean, Man United handled that Lingard situation horrendously, because they should have sold him off the back of that. Instead, they decided to keep him and then let him leave on a free. You don't think Barca wanted him? I don't. Genuinely, I don't think Barca, and that's just my opinion, guys. I don't have sources or anything. But I just don't think there was any cemented options to Barcelona for him, because even if Ansu Fati stayed or left, I don't think they could afford him regardless. Because Barcelona's financial situation is so bad, guys. They had to pull more levers just to register Dani Olmo. Their financial situation was so bad, they can't afford to pay half of this guy's wages, let alone 25% of it. And let's be honest, yes, he would have been a good option for them in terms of backup, but Marcus Rashford needed to go somewhere to play regular football. He had to go somewhere to play regular football. And Barcelona, he weren't getting in ahead of Rafinha. He weren't getting ahead of Lamine Yamal. He wasn't starting ahead of Lewandowski up top. And Lewandowski has been in and out of the starting lineup over the last couple of games for Barcelona, but I don't think he was ever going to be a starter there. And what Marcus Rashford needed was to go somewhere he's going to start. And if we're being honest, guys, look at all the teams he was linked to. Everybody had a player in his position that could potentially, you can debate about whether he starts over them or not. Gittins at Dortmund, I think, he would have been the preferred starter over Rashford. Leao at Milan would have been the preferred starter as well. So I just feel like he was always maybe going to stay in the Premier League. And, you're looking at Villa right now. Ramsey, Rashford, I think he starts over him. Bailey, I think Rashford starts over him. So it's a good destination for him, and it's a good option. And most importantly, I think, if he goes there and he has an impactful, like I said earlier, Marcus Rashford has a point to prove to everyone, but most importantly, he has a point to prove to himself. He needs to prove a point to himself. Because let's be honest, fans, we're going to be fickle all the time. Our opinions are going to change. It's going to fluctuate, We're going to go back and forth on our opinions. But Marcus Rashford needs to prove a point to himself. That's the most important thing. And maybe the best thing for him is staying in England and, being on the radar of Thomas Tuchel and on the England national team, etc. But equally, going to Villa and, that push in Champions League, that stage in Champions League might help him in the summer to get maybe more options and maybe potentially more buyers. That's why I just hope it's not a complete obligation to buy for Aston Villa, because there might be more teams in the running for him. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Did we hit the like target? Yes, we did. If you are watching this and you did not hit the like button, don't be a disgrace. Don't be a disgrace. We've got a lot of content as well coming tomorrow. Of course, we've got the match reaction after the United game. We've got the match reaction as well coming after Arsenal versus City. We'll have daily dose of Minna on Monday as well. And then obviously content every single day, man. You guys know what it is. If there is official here we go for Marcus Rashford, I'll probably drop a video on it. So make sure you turn on your post notifications. So every time I post a video or every time I go live, you get notified. Make sure you guys turn on your post notifications. Big up to everyone that sent in super chats today. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. It's the road to, 12K? The road to 12K. We're not that far off. We're on our way to 11.5. So not long to go. Road to 20K this calendar year. It's doable. It's doable. I can't lie. You guys have to help me push it. You guys have to help me push it. Big up to KG in the chat. Bro, I've been meaning to call you. I've just been busy with shoots all week, but I'm going to call you in the coming days to talk to you, because we need to bring back the pod. So big up to KG with the super chat. Proud of you, sis. Keep winning. I appreciate it, bro. I need to come back to pro clubs as well. I just have not had the time to play any PlayStation, and I ain't had the time to do anything because I've been working like a dog. Big up to my bro. And I saw he's doing a watch along with Owen, so make sure you check that out later tonight. I don't know nothing about wrestling. The last time I remember watching wrestling was like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is he still in wrestling, guys? That's the last time. SmackDown versus Raw 2006, I think, was the last time I remember playing a wrestling game, like properly, when I used to be into wrestling. So Rikishi was still there. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The guy with he used to wear the black thing like this. What's his name? And he was bald and he was really tall and big. Oh, I remember Big Show. That's all I remember. I don't remember many people in wrestling. But if Rikishi is still in WWE, I might watch it. Kane, there you go. Yeah, that guy, Kane, that guy that was like this. He had a black dress. I don't know why I'm calling it a dress, because it does look a bit like a women's dress. But that's all I remember from wrestling, bro. I don't remember anything else. Much love from Nigeria, man. Big up to everyone in Nigeria. Shout out to all my Nigerians in the chat. Shout out to everyone, man. A lot of my viewers, guys, are from Africa. Like a lot of, obviously, is Europe, UK, USA predominantly, but then Africa, Kenya. I was looking at my demographics the other day on YouTube. Nigeria, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa. I think those were like the 4 big ones. Mark Henry. Oh my God, I remember Mark Henry. Rikishi's sons are in WWE. That's how you know we're old. You lot are telling me Rikishi's sons are in yeah, I need to end the stream, man. And I need to end the stream. Big up to everyone listening, guys. Is anyone live that I can redirect to? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. If anybody is live that we can redirect to, nope. No one's live. No one's. You know what? United View are going to be live soon with the full view. So make sure you lot go over there and show some love, man. Big up to everyone. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We're out, guys. Be back tomorrow, inshallah. Have a great evening. And if there is Marcus Rashford, here we go. There'll be a video out soon. Peace.